One.
All right. So thank you everybody for joining us today. We are super happy and grateful that we have some wonderful folks joining us today for our Eagle Parent Panel hosted by Student Life and Development. My name is Maya Cardenas. I'm our Associate Dean of Student Services. And part of my oversight is Student Life, Outreach, and Judicial Affairs, and some Title IX. So thank you all for joining us. Those of you that are viewing us on our YouTube channel, we definitely welcome conversation in the chat. So if y'all have any questions or any comments, feel free to put those in the chat, and we'll make sure that we get some time at the end of our hour together to address those. So without further ado, first of all, I want to thank everybody that's on the line, particularly our panelists, for just sacrificing some of their time. We know they're parents, so thank y'all for making that accommodation for us. And also a huge thank you to our Student Life team for helping coordinate this. We've got some folks on the line now: Jose, Suzanne, Deja, Tina, Beth, Maricela, and I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Yeah, so, and Asia's also who's moderating. So without all that, I'm going to hand it over to our Director of Judicial Affairs, Asia Pennell Brown.
Hey everybody, like Maya said, my name is Asia Brown. I'm the Director of Judicial Affairs at MSJC. I'm super happy to be here tonight. I'm a parent myself of two little ones, a 3-year-old and a 9-month-old. So I definitely know that we're all going through a transition. I'm happy we have created a space to come together and talk about that tonight. So let's hop right into it. First, I'm going to have all the panelists introduce themselves. Just give us a brief intro with your name and your role at MSJC. If you're a student, give us your major. And then after that, we'll roll right into our first question. So we can go ahead and start with Michelle.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Cerca. I am a student and a student worker at MSJC, and my major is nursing.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cristina Acevedo. I teach English at MSJC. I'm an English full-time faculty there.
Hello, my name is Rafael Reshka. I'm a student at MSJC. My major is health management, and I'm also a student worker at the lab technician for foreign language lab and comm lab.
Hi everyone, I'm Arlissa Thomas and I am a student at MSJC. I was currently working at as a student worker in student services in financial aid.
Carla?
Hello, I'm Carla Withrow and I work at MSJC as a professional development coordinator.
Thank you. And Reina?
Hi, my name is Reina Mujica. I'm a student mentor and a full-time student. I'm in administration of justice and I have a 6-year-old daughter.
Okay, awesome. Thank you everyone again for being here. So Reina, I'm actually going to start off with you for our first question. It is, are you currently taking classes, and how was the transition from traditional classes to online? And if you could just share some of your experience with doing that from home.
For taking classes, it's actually, to me, it's not as bad as I thought it would be, as long as I stay on top of it. It does get a little hard just on the part where I'm trying to share a computer with my little one so she could do her classes as well, like her little schoolwork and reading and everything on there. But I mean, other than that, I think it's they're making it where it's manageable for me, especially with the Zoom classes, the Zoom conference calls.
Awesome, thank you. Marlissa, do you want to answer the same question? Are you currently taking classes, and how was that transition and what has it been like so far?
Okay, so currently I am taking 3 classes. One is PE, body conditioning, and I still have to do assignments for that, believe it or not, and statistics. And also psychology. Statistics has been a challenge for me because I like to ask questions as soon as possible. Like, hey, I have a question. So it's been kind of difficult for me to actually get in contact with, I wouldn't say too difficult to get in contact with my professor, but for it to be statistics, because I know everybody knows stats is just really difficult, as it's overwhelming. But besides that, I feel like I've been doing really good. The transition for me has been a bit difficult only because I'm so used to being at school like 80, probably like 90% of the time. So I feel like the school was like a safe haven for me. It was just like my getaway from like my real reality of life. So it's been kind of difficult for me. But besides that, I've been doing pretty well. I didn't mention I do have one daughter. She's 5, and she hasn't really been taking it too well being at home because she's a busybody like her mother. So she likes to run around all day, and I try to create, activities for her that can be like not not only like fun, but like a learning experience too, because we're both in the same, she's not in college, but she's learning just like me. And I try to put that into her mind already, like, hey, you're 5 years old, but you need to learn, and learning is important. Knowledge is everything. So I hope that answered your question.
No, yeah, that was great. And your daughter was a student at our MSJC Child Care Center, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I'm sure they miss her just as much as she misses them.
Yes, actually, we did circle time. We do it every other week on Tuesdays, and she loves it. I kind of teared up a little bit because all the kids were so happy to see, their teachers, and they were happy to see each other, and they just kept saying, "I miss you, I love you." I thought it was adorable. So, yeah.
That is adorable. Shout out to all of our early childhood education teachers and preschool teachers who are keeping their classrooms going virtually. We're going to go ahead and move to the next question. This is going to be for all of our panelists. And we'll start with you, Christina. How are you managing your time and responsibilities at home?
It's been very difficult to manage it all because it kind of the schedule went away in a sense. I had a schedule of where I was supposed to be at what time and where, and so that went away. So I had to create a new schedule, so being an instructor is really unique because it doesn't feel like I have one child. I feel like I have lots of, like my students I want to take care of them, I want to be there for them. So as I try my best, whenever students tell me they want to Zoom, I will make, it doesn't matter to me if it's like 6 at night or 8 o'clock in the morning, I will make that effort. But I do have to schedule a time like, okay, at 4, we're stopping and we're gonna do family time. We gotta do something else. So it changes. I wish I could say I have one set schedule for the whole week, but it changes on the day because some days are a little bit more stressful than others. And sometimes my child is 3 and he's very articulate and he's very vocal. He'll tell me, I'm very sad. Or he'll tell me, I want you to stop on the computer. Don't sit at your computer. So he'll tell me, and so it's listening to everybody and everybody's needs and just communicating that's how the transition of scheduling and responsibilities have altered. So just being responsible for my job as an instructor and being responsible and listening to my child when he needs me.
Yeah, when we first went into quarantine or isolation, whatever you want to call it, I had these grand ideas of the family schedule that we were going to be on, and it was all color coded and fantastic. And after day 1, it was clear that it was not going to happen. So I feel you on that. We've been taking.
It really is a day by day basis. Like today, he was supposed to go see grandma, like just spend time, and he woke up and he's like, nope. I don't want to go. I want to stay here and I want to play with my toys. And you just have to, I listen to him. I think it's very important to listen to our kids and really focus on what they're trying to tell us.
Yeah, no, for sure. Rafael, how about you? How are you managing your time and responsibilities at home?
So I have a schedule that I do because before I used to wake up like early as soon as like at 6 o'clock. Because I was always like, I have to be active around that time. I have to make sure, I drop off my daughter to her grandmother's house and I, pick up around myself as well. But now it's kind of a little lenient. I still wake up at around 7 o'clock and, like I said, I have a set schedule of what I do. right now I had moved into a new apartment, so I'm just basically building stuff like on and off, trying to make sure I have everything set. And I'm having the son on the way, so I'm really excited for that. Making sure that I have everything set for my son and for my daughter, who she's a year and a half years old. She's just like active everywhere, so I have to make sure I'm like always on top of her. Not then she's gonna destroy everything. And so for me, it's kind of like it's a life experience because I'm only like 21 years old, so I'm just like trying to handle all this fatherhood stuff, and it's pretty crazy for me at first. And when it came to quarantine stuff, it was not something that I actually kind of believed. It was not actually it's not something that I could have like ever thought that was gonna happen to us. But when it got real, I was just like, okay, well, now I have to prioritize all my like with my daughter's needs. Sometimes I also got to think about with my need as well too, because I'm a student at MJC, so I gotta make sure I try to pass all my classes. And then not only that, I gotta take care of my loved ones because I know that my loved ones are going through a lot as well. So this whole quarantine stuff, it was a real life, it was life changing for me, and it was eye opening because I noticed that there was a lot of people who were in need and help, and I saw that, and I did my best to try to like help them out, try to advise them, and it was kind of like I said, it was a big impact in my personal life as well. So learning this stuff, as I what I'm doing right now, I'm doing okay. I'm trying to adapt everything, learning every day as I go. I try to adjust my schedule here and there, and still try to manage school within my life. I mean, that's the important part because I want to be able to be educated and just continue to grow knowledge wise.
Thank you, and congratulations on the new baby. That's exciting. A boy and a girl.
Thank
That's
you.
really good luck.
Yeah, that's gonna be a handful for me.
Yeah, once they're all grown up, it'll be, just good stories to tell. So that's awesome. Carla, we're gonna
Thank
go
you.
next. How are you managing your time and responsibilities at home?
Okay, so I have a 2-year-old and I have a child that just turned 5 over this whole quarantine. And so I'm kind of like you, Asia. I thought I had this whole amazing, beautiful plan worked out. We would start every morning with like preschool time and then have breakfast as a family. And then I would walk upstairs and do my work and come back down, and it was going to be perfect. Well, so obviously there's been changes to that schedule. And I found that I have to wake up 30 minutes before my children to do something for myself. And I've learned that through my own, like I do a lot of motivational like talks and stuff like that. And Rachel Hollis taught me to do 30 minutes before my children wake up to get yourself in a space. And so I've been doing a workout for 30 minutes. Then hopefully I do that before they wake up. Sometimes that doesn't work either. Sometimes they wake up before me and then I'm like, oh, I didn't get to do it. Um, and honestly, after that, I kind of go with the flow. I'm kind of lucky in that, I mean, lucky, but not lucky, but my husband is not working right now because he's in the balloon industry and that's been on hold. And so they're lucky to have their father full time. And so I embrace that as, you know what, this is where we are today. And so maybe he's not teaching them the things that I thought I wanted them to learn, but that's okay. And so I think ultimately just managing the piece of giving myself time in the morning and then working all day. The only downfall is I stay upstairs most of the day while they're here because if they see me, they want to be with me. And so that doesn't always go well in and out of meetings all day long. As a coordinator, I'm getting professional development and I'm training. And so it's hard to have my child in with me while I'm doing training activities that I'm trying to host. And so that's a hard thing that I have to manage is once the day starts, I kind of hide in my room with my jugs of waters, and I sneak downstairs for a lunch. But other than that, I would say that's kind of how I'm going about it. And then at the end of the day, I shut it off and I spend my day with them or the evening with them.
That's awesome. Michelle, how are you managing?
Oh, okay, there. Well, I think like everyone else, I'm trying to take it like day by day. I initially thought it was going to be a lot easier than what it is. I have 3 daughters and 2 stepsons, so that's that's a lot to handle like all together. And I'm taking 5 classes myself, and sometimes here and there I'll get like an email from Beth or like from work, the outreach department, and it's a lot. So I try my best to wake up earlier than everyone does. In the house, it doesn't always work out that way, but I during the week I just try to get as much as I can done in the morning, and then in the afternoon I'll have a seat, I'll sit down with them or watch something, eat lunch, something, do something with them, and then get back to the computer because that's like something. And like Christina mentioned, my kids also are like, no, not the computer today. Stay away from the computer today. It's just something that's, but for the first, well, since everything kind of started, the whole quarantine, my fiance was also off of work. So that helped me a lot. Like we switched like the chores around the house, the cooking, and that helped me a lot. This week though, he was his first week back to work, and that threw me off a little bit. So I kind of fell behind on homework and that stuff, but it's okay, I'll get it done. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We my daughter, the 2 older ones, they're 11 and 12, so they kind of they're able to like wake up, and I kind of made it where they can make their own schedule, like just get it done however you get it done. However you want to, just make sure that your work is done. And they're pretty responsible. The little one is the one that needs a little bit more attention, but she's getting the hang of it too. She's kind of like understanding a little bit more, and you know trying to get them to understand that it's not vacation time, that they still have to do things at home that's the tough part, because they want to go to sleep at whatever hour they want and wake up. So the first week was tough because I didn't even know what I was doing with myself or with them, and and I was like, okay, I need to put them on a schedule. So I did, and that's working out for me now. Kind of just, but also it changes day by day. It depends also on how much work I have to do myself. There's days that I get to spend more time with them, and since the quarantine, we've bought like one of the above ground pools. So that kind of, they spend a lot of time in there. So I get to kind of sit down and do a lot of work. But yeah, that's it. That's how I'm managing my time.
Yeah, you mentioned cooking. When quarantine first started, I was cooking like 3 meals a day. And then, slowly I realized I'm not Gordon Ramsay. I'm not Martha Stewart. Like, what am I trying to prove? But I didn't tell anybody that. I only had that conversation with myself. And then I was in the house like, I don't know what you guys are going to eat because I'm not cooking anymore.
It's a lot. And I can't, like, I didn't want to buy out or anything like that because that's a huge expense, especially for like, we have a big family. So I have to like change things up, and then they get tired and they're like, this again? I'm like, yes, this again.
Sounds like kids. Raina, how are you managing time and responsibilities at home?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of slacking a little bit. I do try to get my daughter to read at least every day though. I get her to read every day. And then we go outside a lot, and I'm cleaning a lot. So there's that. But I mean, other than that, I wish I would take some more time to work out if I could change anything that I'm doing, and be a little bit more on the school part with her. It does get hard because we're sharing a laptop. But I mean, I'm still trying.
Yeah, and I think that's what matters. Everyone's just doing the best that they can. This is an unprecedented time. I don't think any of us have ever experienced, such a drastic lifestyle change so quickly. And so like totally, right? So it's not just your job, it's your daughter's school and everywhere else. So give yourself some grace. We're all doing our best. We have a question.
Definitely give,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I said I definitely give her the teachers props on that, how they teach our little ones. It's amazing. I definitely appreciate it more now.
Yes, no, for sure. I saw a meme earlier and it said, "You lied, my child is not a joy to have in class." And I'm like, I relate. We have a question from the chat, and this is for our student panelists. So Marlissa, we'll start with you. How are you guys experiencing the Student Hub in terms of access to financial aid, enrollment services, and counseling? So one, have you accessed our Student Hub? And if you have, how was that experience?
Yes, I have access to Student Hub. It's very helpful because you can see who's online, who's offline. If you want to schedule an appointment with whoever is available, such as counselors, you can. All the departments are there for your needs, for the students' needs, and I think it's pretty awesome. I did speak with a few of my counselors, one from EOPS and CalWorks, because I'm in a few programs at MSJC. What I first did with the quarantine, when the quarantine first started, I reached out to a lot of people that have already made an impact on my life because I felt like I don't really have that support at home. So I had to get that support that I always usually get at school from like different administrators and faculty members, because it's been pretty tough. So besides that, the Student Hub is very helpful.
Awesome. Moreno, what about you?
I did a EOPS, my second contact, and I thought it was pretty easy. I liked it a lot. If anything, I think it's easier on the phone, like if you're on the go. So I thought that was pretty cool. Not that I'm on the go right now, but I was like, I kind of like this better. But
awesome. Good to hear. Raphael?
So for me, I mean, it's been pretty not that, I mean, it's been pretty easy to access, all the resources there, and it hasn't been difficult for me. I mean, really, I mean, I was able to access. I just explored it, but I really haven't been like, go into it. But knowing that, hey, we have access to this stuff is pretty like, pretty awesome. And then also like as far as financial aid, they're pretty quick to reply back too. Like they just like I just need to send them like a quick like email, and they're all like they're sending me back like just like left and right, and I'm like, wow, that's the fastest one like they ever responded to me, so pretty good.
Yeah, I will say from the MSJC employee perspective, everyone has been working triple time to make sure that you guys keep access to the resources that you're accustomed to, and also getting access to some new ones that we weren't using before. So that makes me really happy to hear that you've all been able to access the hub and have had success with it. So please stay in communication with us as MSJC employees and let us know if there's anything, that you see that we can improve or anything that you're enjoying. I think in these crazy times, everyone needs those pats on the back. So thank you for your kind words and for sharing your experience. We're gonna roll into the next question. Christina, this one's for you. Do you have a favorite MSJC resource that has been helpful to you as a parent or caretaker?
Well, as an employee, my colleagues, I really been asking them how they doing it, how they teaching, because like I think Marlissa Thomas, you said it. You said like, so I did it. I was similar to you when I was a student. I didn't have anybody. I didn't have anyone to talk to about what it felt like to be a student. No, but I was the first generation going, and so. So all this is new. Even when you graduate, you become this. You achieve your career. There's still no one else in your family to relate. So I have to rely on like my colleagues from Aunt Jeanette, to Lauren, to Carla, to Anna. So all my resources are my colleagues, because a lot of us are facing the same thing. Like we don't have anyone to go to at home to ask. So they have been my resources. I've attended a lot of. I had a license to teach. I had a certificate. Sorry, the certificate to teach online. But when you get assigned to teach online, and you plan everything ahead so that it's online. But what was different about this case is that I had already planned for everything to be face to face. So having to switch that over mid-semester was really difficult. So I think my resources have been Delta, which is our online services, to quickly switch over your assignments to be online friendly. And just each other, Delta, and this, I really like what you had to say, because that's why I make it such an effort. Going back to the first question, is trying to make my schedule fit students, because I know I might be the only person they have to talk to about what's happening in school, about the assignments, because they might not have anybody at home to ask. So that's why. So I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna include my students too, because they talk to me and I talk to them, and you know what? There's been times I've taught class and my son will not cooperate. He won't do the activity or a puzzle or a toy. He ends up being part of the class, and my students have been so kind and understanding to just embrace them and welcome in as part of the class. Like one day I did. One day I was teaching class, and I made a deal with my son. I go, if you let me finish my lecture, I'll let you do show and tell at the end of my class. So I told my class, if he does it, will you guys mind staying at the end too, so my son can do show and tell? He brought his Legos and everything. He was on the side over here and waiting. He's like, are you done lecturing? Yes. And then my students, and so he came, he brought his Lego, showed it to my students. I have to say my students have to be my resource too, to help me out as a parent. So so yeah, my students.
Yeah, I think now more than ever, it's clear that we're an Eagle family. I think even more so than we all thought, being able to lean on one another and to have those conversations and even introduce each other to our families as they're going crazy in the background of our Zoom meetings. That's been great for me. And I think a lot of folks are having that experience as well, just getting to know each other better. Carla, what about you? Do you have a favorite MSJC resource that's been helpful to you as a parent?
I do. I had to pull it up on my phone so I could tell you how to get there. But the Student Health Center has an amazing link that has webinars, live stream resources. There's like mental health, fitness, things to do in the kitchen. I don't access that one, but I'm gonna lie. But also all the zoos. So like I can utilize all the like zoo like live cams, and they show you like different amusement parks you can go through and different wildlife spots that you can go and build upon. And so I'm using that a lot with my son. He's 5 and he's very scientific and wants to know everything about the world. And so this has been the most helpful resource for me with my whole family. And that is it's under the Student Hub. If you go to the Health Center, it's under the Student Health Center link, and then you can go down and get all the Safer at Home, live streams, webinars, and resources.
Awesome. I was just going to ask you to tell us how to get there. So thank you for that, everybody. You can find it in the Student Hub under Student Health Center, you said? Awesome.
Student Health Center.
That's actually an excellent segue to the next question. Raina, I'm going to ask you, and then Marlissa will go to you. So Raina, how are you practicing self-care and maintaining a healthy mindset at home?
Well, like I said earlier, I just kind of go outside a lot. I feel like that helps me because I do get antsy just being here, because normally I'm used to being at the school pretty much all day. So that's helping me a lot, is just going outside in my backyard. And I have animals, so I just pretty much hang out with them and my daughter and my family. And then cleaning, that keeps me really busy. And then especially with all the coronavirus, I'm like paranoid. So it's like I'm cleaning the doorknobs, or I'm just cleaning my house a lot mostly. So that, I don't know, cleaning's always kind of helped me when I'm stressed out. So I'm just pretty much doing that most of the time.
Shout out to you for making cleaning a positive because it is a burden in my life right now. I need to adopt your mindset about that. Marlissa, what about you? How are you doing self-care, practicing self-care, and keeping a healthy mindset?
I'm not gonna lie to you all. I do have anxiety, so when I feel under stress, I just stop everything. But one thing that I learned to do is pray and make that a number one priority every single day is to pray. Um, and I started to journal again because I found out I just have a lot of emotions that I really don't let out, whether it be to an actual person or just writing it down. So for me, I had to really learn to journal and express myself towards my daughter a little bit more, but in a positive way, to let her know that it's okay to actually, be angry. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be in fear. So um, I kind of like, I pretty much like have conversations with her. Like I'm kind of like her mini counselor because she's 5. And I think that at this time, it's so important for her to understand her feelings. So and we actually do meditate together. She sits down and she folds her little legs and she closes her eyes with her her hands like this. So I find it kind of funny, but it actually helps her. Even when she goes to sleep at night, I go to YouTube to kids meditations because even though kids they're little humans. So I think that she had a long day playing, being up early, messing with me, irritating me. No, I'm just kidding. Um, just like that, So before she goes to sleep, I make sure that we have like a conversation for she can, make sure that she's okay and I love her because I'm a single mom. So she asks me a lot of questions about her father. Some questions I can answer and some questions I just have to go around, because I can't really answer them at that time. But um, I don't. I know a lot of people say like they play both roles, but I try to just make sure that I'm mom, like I'm number one. Whatever you need, I got you. You're my daughter. I love you. But with self care, I've been drinking a lot of water too, making sure that she drinks a lot of water. My daughter makes sure that she drinks water, that she is learning everything that she needs to learn, and I try to break it down to her as far as like this pandemic is going on, for her to understand, like as a child, what's going on and how serious it is. And the reason why we are in the house is because of this, that, and I just really try to make her understand from a kid's point of view what's going on in this world, because I'm not the type of parent to like kind of beat around the bush, type of person. I like to kind of give her the real, but make sure that I kind of like I obviously nurture her, but make sure that she is understanding what's going on in this world. And if she sees me kind of angry or frustrated, it's because this is going on, like specifically like like I have a D in the class and I'm trying to get it up. And the reason why mommy needs her time, by herself is because I need to do my homework. And she understands whenever I, do homework or any activity, I make sure to include her too. So if I'm like doing psychology or something, like I'll have her like draw, something that has to like, I just like for her to self-express herself because I'm learning that even though, I'm still going through my transitions too as a woman and as a single mom, that I have to make sure that she's okay, because I can't always make sure that it's all about me, because she is me and I am her, so I have to make sure that she just always make sure that she's, and here she is, she's coming, she's crying right now. Are you okay? Okay, well, I'm gonna end that.
No, thank you for that. I think one of the most amazing things we can do as parents is kind of model that self-awareness and emotional intelligence for our kids in ways that they can start to practice it themselves. So kudos to you, Marlissa, for that. We have a comment in the chat, a number one mom. So all of our MSJC family is proud of you for the things that you're doing. Michelle, I'm going to go to you for the next question. How did you explain the current crisis to your children?
Well, I I didn't go too much in depth. That I have, so the ages of my kids are 12, 11, 9, 8, and 5. So the older ones, they kind of understand because they kind of heard a little things from their friends and school and stuff like that. And at the beginning, I was watching like a lot of news, a lot of like, because I was scared, I didn't know what was going on. I was trying to find out what was going on. And I just kind of, I tried to explain it to like the best of my ability without getting like, going into too much detail. Like I didn't explain like what it was, or I just kind of went like I just related it to school and why they're not in school, and just basically we're at home and we're keeping safe. That's why we're trying to keep safe and keep others safe, and hopefully so this can pass and go as quick as it can. um the little one, she doesn't understand. She calls it the coronavirus. So she doesn't, but she does understand that she's not in school because of that. And it's they understand that it's something that has to do with their health, and that we're just trying to stay safe from, at this point. I mean, that's really and truly all you can do with kids. Like, they won't really listen past 10 minutes of your speech. So yeah, that's just kind of how I went about it. They're really good though. I mean, they're loving it because they're not in school, and for my two older ones, I actually have them in Lake Elsinore School District, and their work is not mandatory. So I was able to get them to do everything without any problems until they found out that it wasn't mandatory. So I was trying to keep that away from them, and then they found out. So now I had to like switch up things and kind of like make it like something to do at home, like, and I explained it to them that it's good for them to keep, to try to keep up with the stuff that they would have normally been learning right now, because it won't they won't have that much trouble, or if they will be having trouble in the next grade, like it's just going to be easier for them to transition to the next grade level. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really explain to them any more than it's just something that's going around. It's something that's getting a lot of people sick, and we're trying to keep as many people safe, and ourselves too, and our family, and understanding why we can't go places and why people can't come over, like that type of stuff. Like, we're just trying to stay safe and keep everyone safe. That's just how I went about it.
Yeah, I tried to have a conversation with my 3-year-old about it because she had a ton of questions, and I kind of fumbled my explanation, not gonna lie. But she's into superheroes, so we settled on we're trying to fight the big germs, and we're the good guys and they're the bad guys. And the way that we do that is by staying home. Her main concern was her school, so I was able to take her there to pick up some of her distance learning material, which I think was good for her mental health. And when we got there, she saw that her teachers were okay, and she was thrilled because they're still open. And she left and told them, "Keep it clean, guys." And that's how she exited the building. So I was like, oh, okay. I guess she's an expert. She gets it. That was a win for me as a mom. But Carla, I'm going to speak to your early childhood background here. From a more professional standpoint, what are some good strategies for our viewers and our parents here for having that conversation with your kids?
Well, I think books are the biggest, right? And I even heard today in our brown bag that we have somebody on our campus actually wrote a book, and I can get you the name in just a second. But I would say going through stories or creating like puppet shows to talk about just the idea of it being a germ, right? Like, we have a book right now on germs, and so that's what we use in our house. Is we are washing our hands to get rid of the germs, which is exactly what this is that's taken over our world, right? And so putting it into that perspective, and then really paying in, like Michelle said about the emotions, and Marlissa shared about the emotions, is because we have a million emotions going on about this, right? We know we're excited that we don't have to go to school, but we're also scared because why is this news on that's telling us terrible stuff all day long? And really minimizing the amount of news that they hear is most beneficial, right? And that we're getting that information as adults from where we need to, but minimizing that for our children. And also like thinking about the conversation around why we're not seeing certain family members. Like I know I've been really strict and nobody comes to my house. Nobody's even been in my house in 6 weeks, but like their grandparents will come by and drop off like birthday presents, right? And they stay outside and they keep their distance. And that's really hard for a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old to know, why are they not hugging me? Why are they staying at a distance? So just being open to the conversation about how they feel about that and relaying it back to that concept of the germs, right? And that it's not any other reason. And I'm going to get you the title of that book that was written. I'm full of resources, aren't I? I'll get it for you in a minute. I got to find it.
No worries. I
it.
see folks talking about it in the chat. Amber Lappin, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, is the author of the book. Amber, could you give us the title in the chat, please, so we can shout you out? But she'll be hosting this panel tomorrow, and I'm sure she'll have some great information then as well. When it pops up in the chat, I'll let you guys know. Raphael, question for you. What's your favorite quarantine family time activity?
I can't hear you. Yeah, your chat.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Awesome. No worries. What's your favorite quarantine family time activity?
So, favorite quarantine family time. I mean, lately I just been mostly just been crafting. So it's like what I mean by that is I would just get stuff, start building it, and or just make some kind of like design for my for my daughter and for my future son. Either that or I'm doing like crazy art, just displaying it all over the room. That's because I was into art. It's basically trying to like just try to be active. If not, then another thing that I've been doing is working out. So sometimes my daughter would see me work out, so I'll just work out with her, and I'll put in my back and do push-ups, and she just like having like a great time. So I'm like, okay, like you like that. So I'm just kind of keeping myself occupied with being quarantined and then just really enjoying my time with her. That's mostly it. That's one of my favorite moments.
That's awesome. So the name of the book is called Wait, I Have a Question by Amber Lappin. It's available in Kindle and paperback versions on Amazon. And Amber's in the chat. She says she's happy to purchase a book for anyone who can't afford it right now. So just let her know if you need a copy of that. Thank you, Amber. And we'll see you tomorrow for the hosting. Let's see, Christina, what's your favorite family quarantine activity?
We do a few. Like I said, I think for us, it's helped us to stay united to have family nights. And so we've played, we have to think of things that are toddler friendly because he's 3. So he loves Frozen, and Frozen has a couple of board games. There's one where there's like a tree and Olaf's inside and you spin it, and we're practicing numbers. And then if you land on a certain number or space, you have to add to the tree until a tree opens up and Olaf pops out. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, for all the parents, it is very boring. It's extremely like it's very, very boring, but he loves it. He thinks it's the funnest thing in the world. We also played another one that is also Frozen themed. It's like Chutes and Ladders, but with a twist, like the board moves around. This one's it's like Chutes and Ladders meets Candyland. He loves it, but again, it's not stimulating for us adults. It's just colors and numbers. But as long as he's having fun, that's what matters to us. We tried a couple puzzles, and we just do dessert, like whatever it is. We do some sort of dessert, whether it's ice cream or cookies or something, and then we sit down and do family night. But we've tried to keep that on. We tried Uno. That worked out. That was a little bit more fun for us adults. For myself and my husband. So mom and dad liked Uno. But the only bad part about when we did Uno is that his stuffed animals had to play. And so I was ending up playing like four four games at the same time because they're playing too, but it's actually mom and dad like playing for the stuffed animals. Yeah, we do game nights.
That sounds like a lot of fun. We have been playing this game called Pie in the Face. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. And my daughter is obsessed. So for those at home who haven't played this game, you spray a little hand with whipped cream and you put your face into these little frames and you tap a button to get the hand with the whipped cream to move, and whoever loses gets pied in the face. My daughter is obsessed and she's become weirdly good at it. So I am not too proud to admit I've been pied a few times, but that's what we're doing at the Brown House. We're going to go to our last question, and then we'll leave a little bit of time for questions from our chat room. Raina, we'll start with you. What is the best advice you can share as a parent?
I guess advice I would probably try to give myself on that is maybe try your hardest to stick to some kind of a routine, so that way your kids don't get too out of it when they do go back to school. Like that way it's easier for them to bounce back. Just enjoy the time. I know it's like hard for some people, but try your best to enjoy the time you're getting with your kids or your family. And just, keep at it, just keep working at it. It'll get better and we'll be back in no time. Just to enjoy what we got for right now.
Thank you. I will say, I think that although it's tough at times, that all of this family time has been kind of awesome. There's so many times I can remember when things were normal where I thought I wish I could just slow down for a second, and now we have slowed. So be careful what you wish for, but I think that it has been really great to reconnect with everyone, even when it's virtually. Carla, best advice you can share as a parent?
I would say first is be kind to yourself, whatever it is that happens in your day. Lay down and know that this is just a time right now and we are in a pandemic, right? And so I would say that would be number one. And recognize that your feelings are okay. And then finally, I would say count your blessings, and we will never get back this time again that we're getting right now in our homes, whether some of it could be good, some of it could be bad, but find those pieces that are good and say, oh my gosh, like this is what I'm getting right now. And I'm going to count that blessing and see like what I'm getting good out of this, right? It's almost like a clean slate we're being provided with. LA air is clean today because of this pandemic. If that's happening, the world might change. So count your blessings.
Thanks, Carla. Yeah, the impact that we've had on the environment as humans has become really, really, really obvious. So hopefully we can make some changes as we all go back to normal. Michelle, what about you? Your best advice as a parent?
My best advice as a parent would be to just always keep the lines of communication open with your family. I think that's very important because sometimes like my daughters, sometimes they'll see me stressed with everything and they won't tell me how they feel or if something's bothering them or something like that, because they don't want to like add stress to me, like put more stress on my back. And I've noticed that a lot. And sometimes I don't catch it until I'm in bed and I think of my day, that I that's something that I've always done, that before I go to bed, I just lay there and I think, okay, what did I miss today? What didn't get done today? And when you do that, I feel like you catch a lot of things, that just kind of like slip through the day. Sometimes I'm cooking and I take a break to make food, and that's, they see me away from the computer, so they're like tugging at me, and I say, okay, give me a minute and then I'll get back to you. And at night I'll realize like, oh, I didn't get back to her, like I didn't go back to finish that. And then I'll make it the first thing in the morning to be like, I go up to my daughter and I'll be like, remember yesterday I said this, or you were trying to tell me this and I didn't listen, like, and I get very, very emotional, like when I feel like, things just kind of slip, and it's not because like I'm being a bad mom. It's just that there's only enough hours and minutes in a day, and there's way too much going on right now. So I think like just letting them know that it's okay to talk to you about everything that's going on. And I think for the parents to know that it's also okay to let the kids know how they're feeling, like it's normal. We're all going through it. We're all experiencing like all these feelings all at once. We're all, I'm sure that although the kids are enjoying being at home, they also miss their friends at school, miss their regular day, the time that they got away from home, the chores at home, that it was an escape for them to some extent, from everything. And I just think like just being open always with everything of, I I would say that's my advice for parents.
Thank you. Raphael, your advice?
So as a parent, to be honest, just to be real with yourself, and along with and be real with the people who around you as well, because a lot of stuff could happen from now to tomorrow, and be active with your children, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. That's one thing I learned, that for sure, actually being quarantined, because I've seen a lot of people lose their life over this. And this is actually very serious, because I have close, I have close relative who told me that, oh, their friend just passed away, and I'm just like, I'm pretty shocked, because I never thought this was actually gonna happen because of this quarantine stuff. And I feel like that's one thing that you have to do, is just be active with your family. Keep up, keep in touch with them, and also, like, kind of like discipline yourself, because there's one thing that a lot of people don't understand, is that when we don't discipline ourselves and we don't say, hey, you know what, we're gonna do this, then then we end up like we end up doing things that, let's say we end up pushing it to another day or something like that. Like I know that I had a habit of like doing project with my daughters. I end up having a habit of pushing it to the side. And when actually, when I was in quarantine, I actually disciplined myself and actually said, you know what, I'm going to do this. I started doing it. It felt good. It felt good. It felt like, I'm being more active with my daughter. I'm like, I'm being more active with myself. And it helped me, like, spiritual wise and, mental wise, because, you know, I feel like with this whole quarantine, I felt like I was entrapped. But now, being active with my daughter, really disciplining myself to be there for her even more than 100%. It actually felt good. And also reaching out to families too, because as a parent, you have to reach out to your loved ones, sister, brothers, anybody. So that's one of the best advice I could give you.
Thank you. Marlissa and then Christina. So Marlissa, your best advice as a parent.
My best advice as a parent is that nothing's perfect, and life is made up of small, like, special moments, and just enjoy the small things. Because life is short, like Raphael was saying. Communication is key, and just continue to be who you are. Don't change yourself for anybody, and to make sure that every little thing that you're doing as a parent, you're doing it for the best, for your child at the end of the day. But you have to make sure that you have the right mindset and clear your mind before you spur out, hate or negativity, because I know my child, she feeds off of me. And if I'm not in a good mood, she knows I'm not in a good mood. And if I'm in a happy mood, she's happier than ever. And that's what I would like to see, is her always be happy and have a smile on her face. And I wanted to mention earlier is that, as you can see, life happens and she just walked in there crying. My sister grabbed her, and you know, just like those little small moments, I'm like, okay, now she feels like I'm ignoring her, but I'm really not. It's just like, mommy has something to do, you know, and it's a great experience. And I just if I was to like speak with, you know, somebody in my shoes right now, I would just let them know that every day will be different, and just make every day the best of, you know, every day, because you never know when it might be your last.
Thank you. Thank you. The irony of that is you're sitting here doing a panel about her, right? So that's hilarious. Christina, you want to close us out?
Sure. So I just want to reiterate that communication. So I'm very open and transparent that I suffer from depression. This has been a long going. It got really bad after I had my son. And we've always been very open and very communicative. Like my son, we've never hit it like, mommy's sad right now, and I have to deal with that. So listening to each other, listening to your child, and helping each other out. And if you need help, I've always been an advocate of this. If you need help, ask for help. Ask for help. Call whoever you need to get help, because I have done that. I've woken up and I'm like, I can't do it today, and I have to call my mother-in-law or my mom, and I like, can you watch my son, because I've reached my limit. And just communicating that, always communicating what you need, listen to what others need, and I think will help you be a strong parent, because I've always heard this, it takes a village to raise a child. It is very true. I can't do this on my own, especially with depression. I can't do this on my own. I need everybody. I need everyone to help me do this. And so the best advice is listen and ask for help if you need help. And don't be ashamed to ask for help.
Thank you, Christina. For all of our students watching, our MSJC Health Services resources are still available. Our mental health counselors are still available free of charge to you. And they have a lot of availability. So if you need to access those services or find yourself needing some extra help or support, please go to the MSJC Student Health website through the MSJC homepage, and please get in touch with those. I'm going to turn it back over to Maya. Thank you all so much for answering all my questions.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I am so honored that y'all were able to sacrifice some time and share it with us. This was exactly, I think, what we all were hoping for when we were planning this event. I want to thank Asia for doing an outstanding job, and also just representing parents from the administrative side, because it's tough. And as somebody who doesn't yet have parents, I do have parents, but have kids. My wife and I are hoping to foster to adopt soon. So we're gonna hopefully start that journey fairly soon. So, man, I have to tell you, y'all are heroes to me. I think it's hard enough to do this job, but to have to navigate little ones is just extraordinary. So thank you all for sharing your stories tonight. Thank you all for just, allowing space. We're going to do this again tomorrow. So I just want to thank you, each and every one of you, for participating. Some of you are going to join us again tomorrow, and I really look forward to those conversations as well, so we can get some new folks. And I really want to send a shout out to Dr. Colson and all of the administrators and faculty that joined us. And particularly, we're looking forward to Amber, the author that we've talked about. She'll be helping us moderate tomorrow. So thank y'all. We appreciate you. Y'all hopefully know you're not alone, and you definitely have us as resources. You have Asia, certainly everybody on this call, and we'll send that email out to everybody with some of the research we talked about. But thank y'all for being leaders, particularly as students. Thank y'all for being student leaders, because we know that your voice matters, and the fact that what you were able to share today, I think, is going to be really powerful. So thank y'all. I want to honor our time together. So we are about 6 o'clock. I don't think I saw any questions in the comments. So we'll do this again tomorrow, and hopefully everybody stay safe. All right. Thank y'all. Go Eagles. Go class of 2020.